Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. How is it going? How is the Sunday? How is everything? Today is the last stream of 2025. Needed to think for a second if it's still 24. But it's not 24 anymore. So let's think about what we're gonna talk about today. There are a few things I had in mind for today. None of them seem that decisive. So let's just see how it goes, and your feedback in the chat or the comments is always appreciated. So I thought, because it's the last stream of the year and potentially the last stream in this format, even though the format is not going to change that much yet. Hello, Norvan. How is it going over there? Is everything fine with the sound? If anything is off, just let me know. So, my thoughts for today were mostly going through the year in review, in a way. Yep, iPad is not that bad. iPadding. Technical issues with your iPad. Well, I hope you can resolve them soon. In the meantime, my plan for today was to quickly check out what I have done over the year. I don't know if you are interested in that, but I haven't really looked back at the stuff I've done, and I know I did have different periods, if you want to put it that way, with different media. So I thought that could be fun to just maybe quickly look through that. And then I also wanted to discuss my thoughts on the next year for the studio. And maybe for that, we will be doodling some digital landscapes, because it's been a since we've done some digital landscapes, and I feel like I'm missing that. So, starting with the 2025, I have a full box of stuff here that I've done. I didn't have time to really dig through it and sort it by any specific matter, but let's just start with what we have here on the screen. This, as many of you, probably everyone here knows, was a big challenge that Sasha Kolesnik and I hosted on me. What's the correct way of putting that? Anyway, we hosted a challenge on Discord and Instagram, where every day you were challenged to draw or sketch with a different medium. And for myself, I framed it all in kind of like a village or a house monstrosity, if you will. So pretty, these houses are together. Thank you. You can also see there is one house with a hole, and you can put like a landscape behind it, and then it's like a window into different. With yellow it kind of works. Yeah, so for myself, I divided the sheet in 24 areas and then was just filling up those areas with whatever would be the medium choice of the day. There is, for myself, I didn't really plan anything ahead except of I want to do a bunch of houses, and that added, I feel like, the challenge element to be for me, because I didn't really know what would be the medium until I sat down in front of the empty square, and I also didn't know in which style to draw it or what would be the vibe of it. So that part was very experimental, you might say, and in a way challenging to overcome the frustration of just doing something on the spot. But I did learn a few things in the process, mostly that a lot of media dry up if you don't use them for a while. So, like some of the markers were very dry. So take care of your tools. I think that's the lesson number one. But also just kind of learning to enjoy the process without judging it and in the spot, and maybe waiting until you're done with the whole thing to judge it in your way. You don't even need to judge it, you can just enjoy the process. So that was fun. That was basically my whole December. There wasn't much time or energy for anything else besides that. Let's just leave this stuff here as a way. This is also nice. This was just a test page for a new watercolor I bought. Very juicy green color. So if we're kind of rolling back in terms of time, I think the next big thing that I did this year that I haven't done before really was different sorts of prints. And by prints, I mean, let me grab a few prints from here. Prints, lina cutting. That was a big discovery for me this year. I think I bought a set of lina cutting tools in, I want to say, August or September. And that has been a joy to carve around. Well, no, actually, that's not true. I carved the first time a while ago when my brother was visiting. But then it's been a year, I think, or even more, when I didn't do anything. And then I bought myself a bunch of carving tools. Not a bunch, just a little cheap set. And just wanted to experiment with the medium. And that was pretty fun. You can see some of these are just like experiments with textures. I've been trying to use the snail as the inspiration for a lot of things, because first, look at this guy. He's clearly an inspiration to everyone. And second, snails are, slow. And I feel like that's been the motto for me for the last few months, to kind of learn to slow down, observe what's happening with you and what are you feeling, and not reacting but letting stuff happen, and maybe choosing the reacting on the spot. This is a house. This is another landscape experiment. I didn't, as you can see, I'm really new to this printing thing, because I also don't have a press, so I'm winging it every time. So you can see some of it is very not, like the paper either is not fit for the printing, or the printing is not fit for the paper, if that makes sense. So those were some prints, and I still have obviously like the lina cut part of it. I like this one. I feel like it's a good candidate for a t-shirt or something. In general, you can see there was a lot of eyes, and no, this one is from the challenge. Eyes, clock, snails, textures of blades, and some landscape tryouts. Love the landscape experiments, lino experiments. They remind me of these Japanese wood prints. I think that's where partially my inspiration was coming from, and I think I want to try more. I did maybe like 2 or 3 these sort of landscapes, but there is so much more to explore. So much more potential. Get a bit excited there. So those are not all the prints. There are also prints that I clearly washed a bit. This is a tree. Tree is also a good symbol. There are some. Oh, there's the snail. This one is completely nuts. But I guess it's a good representation of what's happening in the world. Another landscape. This is this eye, the house. This one we did together with my brother. Carved one half, I carved another. It was a fun thing to do. So, as you can see, there are some prints that I've been playing around. And also there are smaller experiments with just, textures, or this little snail, or snail without a house, or a few eyes. The scales, flame, fish scales, more textures, another eye, and another eye. I have already 4 eyes. There is also a flaming eye and some symbols. And there are also these tiny things that I thought, you can make like a big print and then put these like as stamps or as a pattern of sorts. That could be fun, but I haven't tried it yet. There is both eye and the clock and the crying. Some more symbols, planet for some reason, an eye leaf. Well, I think this should give you an idea what I've been doing in the fall of this year. That was I think the new medium discovery of the year, if you will. And I want to experiment more next year. By that I mean, I think some of maybe even one of these eyes, I want to make a print off and then scan it and put it as maybe my first product on the web shop. I haven't put anything there yet, so we need to start somewhere. By the way, if you have any ideas from what you have seen so far, what would be cool to have on the t-shirt or as a print, let me know. That would really help decide on everything. Then the other thing I did for the first time this year is trying out oil. Still smells. I don't know how I feel about it. This was also done on stream, so if you're curious about my struggles, you can watch it on YouTube. But I have mixed feelings about it because I haven't, mastered it yet, clearly. I do struggle with handling oil, but at the same time, I do like how it behaves, how this smearing and mixing on canvas happens. And you can see like there's a very heavily textured canvas, or not canvas, but paint. And that part I like about it. It's a very physical medium. But I do need to practice to understand what's up with that. Another fun thing was also on stream that was trying out this new watercolor Kuretake watercolor. And it's a great watercolor. It's very juicy and bright and fun. Then I see there are a couple of these smaller bits and pieces here. For example, what's this? This one is, well, that's a year before that. Yeah, this was just like a table notebook where I was doodling whatever was coming to my mind. A lot of abstract, strange stuff. But this is 2024 or 12,024. Just mixed media madness. Don't know what was happening here. probably was going through a phase. That's this one. So that's a bit an old one, but I still haven't looked at it before today, so I guess that counts. This one I used for street sketch Saturdays. It's a global movement that was initiated a while ago. The idea is to just doodle on a Saturday somewhere outside of your studio or wherever you usually draw. Can be on the train, can be in the cafe like you see here, can be people. I suck at drawing people, so that was me trying to learn how to do that. More cafe sketches, more people trying. This guy especially is really some more landscapes of city sketches, some coffee mugs, some birds in the park, some holiday vacation sketches. These are two pictures or more. These are the two pictures I did in Serbia this year. This one you can barely see, but it's there. This one was me trying to learn how to draw yourself, drawing yourself drawing. That was in some bird park. Well, there was a short street sketch Saturday sketchbook. There is also this one. There are also some just like laying around leftovers from street sketch Saturdays. Crows. Can be a print. And then there was also a discovery that I made, or somebody introduced me to this crazy idea that you can use postcards for drawing stuff. And I kind of fell in love with this idea because it's a really good. Oops. Something fell down. It's a really great format. It's easy to carry around if you want to street sketch something, and it's big enough to do some kind of experiment with the medium, especially if you're working in small scale. So as you can see, I did a lot of very weird stuff. Just some random colors. Sometimes it's a color, sometimes it's shapes, gradients. I wasted a lot of paper, as you can see. A lot of it wasn't really thought through, so sometimes it does feel wasteful, but at the same time, if you feel like there is something you want to do and it doesn't hurt anyone, then probably not a bad idea to do it. So that was my approach with all of these postcard doodles. And you can buy a block of postcard paper pretty cheaply. I found a couple that fit together. Saharina says, wow, will you send some? I'd love to receive one like that. I can send you some. Maybe I should start. Wait, I have a Patreon. I can create a tier for people who want postcards. And then I can send some of them randomly. That would be monetization option. This one I like. It's part of a church ceiling. I think it was a street sketched. Yeah, it has a date, so must be sketched on the street. Some more prints. This one I can send for free. Some more prints. You can see though that the watercolor paper. I have this postcard paper, which is I think like 300 grams. So it's pretty thick and textured. It's really good for watercolor. I like that. But for prints, it's I don't know. I either need a harder printing powers or just a different paper. This was also, I think, a street sketch. It's cute. Also another street sketch with 2 colors, whatever that is. Some landscape sketches. Keep in mind though, not all of these are, probably none of these are from this year, but it's a box that I'm going through, so some of these will be outdated, but never seen by anyone outside of this house. This is another street sketch. Maybe I should put street sketches to the side somewhere. Well, too late now. Some more experiments, color doodles, some more houses, another street sketch. This one maybe you have seen on Instagram. I turned it into a digital sketch. Another street sketch. Just a three street sketch. Sometimes I blob and then try to find something in it. Here was me just putting different colors and trying to make a sci-fi device out of it. This is one of the things I want to do more of. Just blobbing and seeing shapes. So you can see it's been a big variety of different things happening. This is not a street sketch, I think, based on how wonky it is. Some are pretty moody, some are weird. Don't know what. Oh, I think it's a Viking ship there. A lot of sci-fi inspired things. Look at this. 3 portraits of people. As you can see, I'm learning still learning anatomy. I never wanted to really spend time learning anatomy. I think I'm more interested in environments and props, sketches and designs. But eventually, look, 2 pigeons. This one is one-eyed robo pigeon. So eventually, I think it might be good to learn anatomy proper and spend some time with it. Do not struggle so much and not avoid it. Maybe more of a challenge for artistic growth than anything else. But at the same time, can't have everything. Sakarina says, amazing heads. Thank you. Those heads? No, you don't mean the pigeon heads, right? Well, those are heads that will stay in history. Oh, I have a big head as well, that on a kind of like a cardboard canvas thingy. There is also this guy. It looks like what there is Russian oppositional media channel on YouTube called The Breakfast Show, and I have some prints or some merch with face that looks kind of like that. Maybe I subconsciously got that inspiration. Okay, we're getting through it, guys. We're very close to the beginning of the end. Let's just get this next button. Okay, the other part that I see here in the box of art stuff is another bunch of trial and error things that I've done, and the idea being using an A4 sheet of paper to, well, these are just 3 sketches. Okay, let's take a look at them. Sometimes, you know, for a street sketch, I would just take a A4 sheet of paper, just, you know, fold it, and if you have a pen and a water brush, maybe you don't need more than that for a quick sketch. This one I actually like. Oh. And the color here, if you're curious, this is the water brush pen that I used for this. And the color is this kind of like cold warm gray, which is a mix of just 2 liquid watercolor things, indigo, and I think that one is actually, I don't know what this one is. I will try to find the name of that ink some other time. Wait. Yeah, some other time. Anyway, this is pretty convenient if you want a quick street sketch setup and you just have a pocket. You can stuff this in it with a pen and you're good to go. So with these sheets of paper, I thought it would be fun to have maybe also in the print shop that I'm gonna be working on, kind of like templates. You know, you can print it out on a sheet of paper and then using a knife you cut things out and then you fold it in a specific in a specific way. There you go. And then you have like a 3D postcard. This one is hard to tell, but there is like a figure in the front. Is this camera better? There is like a person in the front and then some hills and some jungle. hanging around. Then there are some just weird trial and error things. There's this where you can kind of see the beginning and the end. Then you open it and it shows the whole landscape. And I think this is also like an A4 sheet of paper. So I thought that could be something fun to do. To come up with these prints and... Whoa, it's the wrong way to fold. You also need to know how to fold things. So here we have the sun, and then we have the clouds, and then we have the hills, and then we have the figure, and then we have the foreground stuff. So those were fun to do. Although sometimes they kind of break your brain a little bit, and as you can see, they're super flimsy. With this one, the idea was that maybe there is a way to like open this into different dimensions. Like you open this up and there is like, as if the figure is going forward, but it's very flimsy. I think we do this. I think maybe I need to work on the desired effect a little bit more. Or is it just stuck there? Maybe from this angle? Well, anyhow, that's another thing that I've tried out. I'm not sure if it was this year or last year again, but does it matter? I don't think it does. Then another little experiment I did was trying craft foam. I always wanted to try it, but I never had at that time, so I thought it would be fun to just cut out some bits and pieces and glue them together. And then I found a book in the free library of garbage books, and I thought I will just use it for my artistic pleasure. I still have most of the book intact, it was just a few pages. And I know some of you might be angry at me ruining a good book that somebody would read. But, you know, it's just a book. I'm not going through the whole library, chopping the books up. So, you know, it's okay. It's alright. Then, okay, am I going too deep into this flip through? Do we want to do something else today? Probably not. Let's see. So, some more doodles on a bigger format. Oh, there is it's glued to the paper. I was trying to expand Magic the Gathering card into a bigger illustration. If you like squint your eyes a little bit, kind of works. I was also experimenting with drawing sci-fi stuff in watercolor, which I usually don't do because it just is odd. But then I thought, why does it feel odd. It doesn't have to. You just need to draw some sci-fi illustration in watercolors, and it's not gonna feel odd afterwards. It's an interesting portrait. He has a very cat look in his eyes. I think I've seen cats staring like that into the light. So there are some spaceships and normal ships, houses. This amazing creature. More sci-fi huts. This one was already this year on stream. That was a fun one. More sci-fi stuff, some devices. That was me working on a game. It's a sci-fi game that I haven't finished yet, but I have started it in 2024. This is a view from the window. This is another street sketch, I guess. I don't remember it doing there. I think I did it at home, so it's not just a sketch. Cancel that. Some random thoughts. And this is maybe a teaser for the next year, because some friends of mine are working together with me on a collectible or trading card game. If you know Magic the Gathering, as we have seen here. So this is gonna be the new Magic the Gathering. It's called Sons of Eatara, and there are 6 suns, and there is a planet, and there is a bunch of different weird creatures and locations. And this year we're gonna be working more intensely towards the Kickstarter for this. And hopefully, because like the game is ready in the sense we have all the mechanics, all the cards. There's 360 cards, and for the cards we need art, and for the art we will try to get the Kickstarter going so we can maybe raise some money to support some artists. And also get this going, the game published. So that's something else to look out for next year. And I probably am going to focus some of the streams on that. You are part of the Discord community that you have seen the message that I've posted yesterday about the kind of streaming plans for next year, or for maybe not the year, but at least the beginning of the year, the first month or two. And the idea is to have 2 exploration streams, 1 concept art practice stream, and 1 community topic stream per month. So maybe on one of the exploration streams, maybe on the concept art practice streams, we will have some of the Sons of Eatara stuff. Hope you're excited for that, because there is a big world to discover. Some more sketches. This is another plan for next year, to do a set of postcards. I think it would be cool to have postcards where people could add their own stuff. This was me making a brush set. Another teaser for next year. What were we talking about? Oh, the set of postcards. Thought it could be fun to do a set of postcards from a city where I live, Leiden, in this case, and then use the packaging for the postcards to kind of give a sketch to people so they can draw a postcard themselves. This one is a really stuck piece of art. This is some mixed media stuff. That's why it's so stuck to itself. Because I think some of it is actually done with glue. So no wonder it sticks. Hot glue. I think no, that's not hot glue, that's the hobby glue, you know, like the regular PVA glue. You can see that this is a very textured piece of paper. But now I have a scanner, so maybe I can scan this and use it in some backgrounds. There is some charcoal in this. Some more random brain farts. Looks like lightning hitting a tree of sorts. So expressive. There was a time when I wanted to combine a lot of historical board games into one board. And I think this was one of my initial sketches for it. There is like a chessboard in the middle and what is it called? What's the game with these triangles? Not domino. Does anyone know? I think it should be written somewhere here. No. Well, anyway. Multiple board games in one board would be pretty cool. If you look closely, there is the word morality written in the middle. Don't know what was happening there. Some trees, some houses. This is the example of what I think about when I say exploration series. When you just come up with a topic and try out different things. This one is such a soft gradient. I don't know what's the medium, probably just watercolor and some maybe pencil. Backgammon. There you go. Thank you, Norman. Some more parts of faces. It's a different variation of the eye. This looks like a person. I think I meant here to be a person laying on their knees with their head on the knees of another person. Some random color experiments, some sketches of the random landscapes. I think this is kind of inspired by Leiden. Some more houses in the fields. This is also more for Sons of Avatara kind of ideation process. Lighting experiments. This would be an example of a concept art practice stream that I would try next year. So, like here, the idea was a canyon dwelling marketplace, I guess. I can't remember by now. But then, like you have a few different shots, maybe like a call out for how the structure looks like and character or something like that. So if that's something you would like to see next year, thumbs up the video and leave a like. Wait, that's the same thing. Thumbs up the like. That's some more Sons of Avatar stuff, I believe. No spoilers. This is a candy explosion. Don't be shy ruining a sheet of paper. I guess that's the motto of some of these paintings. Combining fish with citrus, because why not? Lemon fish, grapefruit fish, blood orange fish. Combining birds with mugs, also, why not? Kiwi glass, whatever thing, mug, pigeon glass. Square. I think this is Bremen inspired study, I guess, of a city. This is 21 house from random objects, I think. Then this is some other painting. So those were the bigger. Wait, that's not all. You thought you could get off so easily, but actually, no. We're almost through it though. I know it's been a long journey, but bear with me for just a little longer. So, as you can see, this one is based off this one. Mushrooms, landscapes. See what I mean with faces? This sun. Indoor garden boats. Morning glory. That's supposed to be. Some more cutouts. Unfinished sketches. Another attempt at a head. There are a few methods of drawing heads, like there is this famous Lumi's head method. There is Riley method, and there's probably also a bunch of more that I don't know about, but I still haven't mastered them. Maybe that's something to practice more of next year. Some more Sons of Atara ideas. Some more whatever this is supposed to be. Some landscapes. Blobs. Another one of these. 3D postcards. Some more print tries. Another print try. This one also was fun. Practice of just drawing blobs and then trying to see heads in those blobs. I think I have a short somewhere or a review of it. The sci-fi landscapes, more snail stamps. This is a nice crispy snack. Some more fantasy landscapes. Some more weird robots. Houses. Oh, this was a color wheel picker for eating the rainbow, I think. You know, there is this saying, eat the rainbow and you will be fine. So that was my attempt at helping people out. So, you know, like for reds, for example, you have vegetables, fruits, grains, proteins, and then like other things. You can see here the categories. And I thought, you know, you can print it out, cut it out, and then if you spin some of them, you can like pick your. I think probably like this. So you would, you know, maybe pick your. I was imagining it's gonna work. Oh yeah, there you go. So for example, here you pick what's the outside? You pick green vegetables, white fruits, orange grains, and then blue proteins. Blue or violet proteins. I don't know what would be blue or violet proteins. Maybe some black beans. Some more card game stuff. Some more card game stuff. Postcard potential. Some more card game stuff. Some more card game stuff. And some more card game stuff. As well as this. Different biomes for that planet where the card game is happening, lighting conditions, experiments, texture brushes. This is the rally method that I was, I guess, practicing on this sheet. But that one is trickier for me. I don't know yet. Don't know it well enough to actually explain how it works. With the Loomis method, I think I'm more familiar, even though it's not like the outcome's good. These are some more prints, I think, from 2 years ago. Some more card game stuff. Well, this is, I guess, Gerbar. Weird landscapes. Some apples. And some abstract things. So, I think that's the majority of it. Of everything that have been done in the past, I guess, year and a half. Obviously, that's not everything because this is just the traditional media part. But let me also open my Procreate, and then maybe we can talk about the next year a little bit while doodling something from the past year. Does it sound like a plan to you guys? How do you feel about the art that you have been doing the past year or so? Was there something new that you have tried that you haven't tried before? Or like could be a medium, could be a topic. Could be uh, anything else. I think for me the big discoveries were Lina cutting, which was super fun, and also some of the other media were also pretty cool. So let's see, where do we start with? Where does the year start? Probably not that far. Okay, so this stack here, Hidden Gems 1, was me working on the album that I released on December 31st, 2024. So that must be close. Let's check this information. Canvas information. So this one created already in May this year. That means, yeah, so this stuff was happening, I guess, after. You can see same thing here, working on the board game. Maybe this could be could be something for today to work on further, because that's kind of the earliest, or is this the earliest? No, this is 2024. Okay. Some thumbnails. Yeah, I think this year, in terms of digital painting for me, there were a lot of just different explorations of approaches to doodling on the iPad. And then I don't think I did that. Well, no, I did some. And then also in September, an artist called Andres Roca was doing a challenge on Instagram where he was painting for 21 days. For 14 days, 20 paintings. And the idea was to do an hour sketch in the vertical format. So that's why you see here a bunch of vertical landscapes. Some of them I like. I mean, these are just done in an hour, so it's pretty focused on composition and color, I guess, more than anything else. But that was fun. I haven't really done many vertical compositions in general up until that point, so that was a nice way to explore how to draw stuff vertically. And some of them turned out pretty fun. At some point I got tired of vertical format because it's kind of restricting you in a certain direction, especially because I was posting it on Instagram and the format is even more specific than just any vertical format. And then there are some more thumbnails. This one is from yesterday, maybe also something to continue on today. And then outside of that, we made a little game for a game jam with a friend of mine. You can find it on my itch.io page. It's a very short game, just basically one level, but it was fun. It's a game about Little Red Riding Hood, but you're not the main character, so it's the little moving woods. And you're basically playing as stones and woods. Norbert says the vertical format looks great, like how they turned out in just an hour. Thank you. Some of them I also like. For some reason I like this one with the cat being sucked out by a huge lantern octopus, and then there are other cats hiding and observing. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there is one here, there is one here, there is, I think, one here, and there is one walking there. And I think there are also two here. Yeah. So a few cats hiding around, and also this is, no, that's not the cat. Okay. Some other ones I feel like, even though I spent a whole hour trying to make them look nice, they didn't really click with me at the end. Like this one, for example. I don't know, I was adding so many effects that I'm not sure it's anything. So those were the vertical sketches, and then also here I can give you a little sneak peek into our Sons of Ilatara stuff, and you can see there is a lot of things I've done this year with like different character costumes, landscapes, city environments, and architectures, maps, all of this stuff, card backs. So there has been a lot of that as well this year, and there's gonna be probably even more next year. But last thing I've discovered this year, let me also show you Coffee Babka. It was me trying to enter a competition on character designs called Chroma Corps, that's hosted by Cynics. But I missed the deadline by a few hours. So that was never submitted, unfortunately. The last thing I discovered this year was environment design course with Rafael Lacosta. And he shares his approach to concept art. He worked on probably most of the Assassin's Creed games in the franchise, but also on a lot of movies and other games. And with his approach, he kind of uses a variety of approaches, and he shares a few of them during the course. But probably the focal point of the course is kind of how to create your own brushes and use those brushes. to speed up your concept artwork. And like the first assignment was to use the brushes he provided to come up with a medieval fantasy landscape. These were some of my thumbnails, and this one was the final image for that assignment. I think it turned out pretty cool, thinking how little effort it took to add those little details. So that was pretty fun. The second assignment was to do like a sci-fi space landscape concept art piece. I think this one was my favorite final version, with just somebody flying towards a huge spaceship or some sort of station. And then there is the third assignment that I haven't finished yet, is non-medieval, non-sci-fi, but just the fantasy, just the landscape, basically. And then that one I think we will bring to color, and that would be the end of the course. So those were my main, I guess, achievements for this year in terms of art stuff. Now, what would be fun to doodle for in a bit? Maybe finishing one of these earlier sketches. Let's see, where was it? All right, let's vote on which one of these seems to be a good candidate for working on a little bit further for the next hour, maybe. My personal preferences, I think, lie somewhere between, like, I like this one. Okay. Better brush. Much better. I like the pumpkin. It, like those red cliffs with white clouds, is a good candidate. But I think my favorite is the top row in general, like these top three. What do you think? The middle one, this one in the middle looks kind of like an Irish coast. And this one, the one on the left, is missing some kind of figure of sorts, or like maybe somebody standing there and somebody standing here. Something for the scale of this. Alright, I think. Well, actually, this middle one can work together with the first one. You know what? I will go with my gut feeling and pick this one for today. And then we can put a vote on. Well, I forgot last vote on Telegram, but we can maybe put it to vote on Telegram and do another one. If people vote for something other than this red one. Now, the way I usually work on these kind of things, and you can see it represented in duplicates everywhere, is I get to the point of finishing the thumbnails, like the one on the right here, and then I duplicate it and just merge everything that I want to merge and pick the thumbnail that I'm working on and just delete everything else. And this way, you know, I have both my kind of the painting that I'm working on, but I also have right next to it in the history the set of thumbnails where this image came from. And that kind of helps to understand that when you come back to this painting, sometimes you forget that you had other ones that you liked or other variations of the same one. But what I like about doing thumbnails is that when you have stuff figured out in small scale, it's usually kind of easier. There isn't much to do when you need to turn it into big scale. So if you did a good job with composition and lighting and color and values, when you get to work on the more final version of this image, it kind of makes it easier, I think. Let's try one of these new Procreate paint brushes. I haven't really used the default Procreate brushes in a while. I've been partially stuck using Raphael's brushes that he provided for the assignments on the course. But I also made some of my own brushes and some like test brushes that I also will be distributing through my web shop when they're ready to be shared. So I haven't really played around with the default brushes, but it is pretty interesting to see how they behave, because recently there has been this big update from Procreate and their whole how they organize brushes into these libraries and what kind of settings you have here. A lot of these things have been updated, but there hasn't been a clear understanding of those things from my side yet. I also find it very convenient to turn on the reference from your actions and then canvas settings, the canvas tab. Just make it small, put it somewhere where it doesn't disturb your movement, but then at least you can see how this looks in the small scale while you work on it. Maybe a little bit more zoomed in. So during this section of the stream, I guess it makes sense to talk about some plans and ideas for the next year, right? So one of the things I have planned to post on Instagram at least, but also in all other places before end of this year, is kind of my mind framework for working on this studio thingy, this stream and community and shop of everything for the next year. And my mindset for that is kind of based on natural cycle of plants. It's a plant-based project planning. Let's put it this way. Let me see if I can put it here in the reference so you can at least get the idea of what I'm talking about. And then we can, it just kind of is relevant to what I'm planning for next year. So let's just post it here like this. And I will talk about what it means and maybe it also inspires you to use this approach on your own projects. And it can be, I was thinking about it more for like creative projects, be it design or art or music or like whatever creative things people want to work on this year. Well, upcoming year, 2026. But the idea is that you're, divide the year in 6 parts, 2 months each, which makes sense mathematically. And each phase corresponds with a natural life cycle of plants, for example. So we start with the seed, and you can see it from both from plants perspective, but also from the farmer's perspective, I guess. When in January and February, the phase is called seed, and from the plant's perspective, it's, I guess, seeding, and from the farmer's perspective, it's preparing the soil, picking the seeds that you want to plant that season, plant that season, and also maybe basically planning, preparing, sharpening the tools that you will need, picking the seeds, picking the tools. That was that's the idea of the seed season. From like practical point of view, I guess it all sounds great as a metaphor that doesn't like change anything. So from the practical part, I wanted to make it practical and easy to follow eventually. Like it's also for me to not get stuck. From practical point of view, this seed stage is basically doing research, trying out things, finishing up some administrative stuff. So for me, like this project planning approach, I will be kind of applying it for my whole studio ideas bank. So for me, I want to first grow a community of people interested in what I do and willing to participate and also maybe share their own journey along the way or their experiences. So number one, growing the community, and then number two would be filling up the shop with drinks. And finally, well, no, those are kind of like the main, I think the main two things. Grow the community, get the shop filled with cool things. And see later what it means. So that's the kind of main, I guess, two like bigger goals for me for the upcoming year. But it's very vague. So what I mean by growing community is also you can break it down into different channels. Like I want to ultimately, I think it comes down to the streams. I want more people to participate in the streams on Twitch and YouTube and get into my Patreon as well as Discord. So those already are quite a few channels that maybe require separate attention. But for now, let's just pick one of these channels as an example for this walkthrough. Let's take Discord, right? If I want to grow a community on Discord within the next year following this plan, what would I do? For the seed phase, I would basically prepare the server. You can create a server without inviting anyone. You can set up all your channels there, and I don't mean all of them, just the basic ones. For example, like during the seed phase, it's a 2-month phase, right? So it's okay if it takes you a few weeks to put together like a logo and a description for that server, and maybe like a welcome channel and a feedback channel or something like that. Well, I don't know what you're going to be working on. It's just an example, right? For me, that would be, as I said, wrapping up the intro for the channel and setting up kind of a clear onboarding for people so they know what channel is for what and how to find the stream schedule and these sort of things. So, your mileage may vary, but that's kind of what I have in mind for the seed phase. The root phase spans also 2 months, and it's from March to April. This is where you kind of plant the seeds. You water them, you make sure that they have the right conditions to put the roots in. And the roots also go in different directions. They go towards the water, but sometimes there is a stone in front, so they need to go around the stone. What I'm trying to say is this is kind of the test period, the tryout. You're doing the first thing on your list. It's kind of an MVP product, minimum viable product, as they call it in tech world. So for the Discord server, that would be, for example, the first, maybe like a first community challenge. In my case, that be actually think what would be the root phase for this. I made a table for myself to kind of per platform, per stage. Just okay, so for the Discord community, seed, preparing the visuals, getting people onboarded, and then the root phase would be kind of sowing habits. So maybe giving my patrons extra channels, because maybe the patrons by that time would exist. If not, setting up the first challenge, like a monthly challenge. Setting up the channel for resources for people to find different sort of useful tools and things to use in their art, brushes and something like that. Then the third step, here it's called sprout, but in other places I call it grow. And the third phase spans from May to June, and it's basically learning. Like it's everything is a learning experience, but in this case, it's learning from what you've done and trying new things and establishing it further. So, for example, again, if we're talking about your imaginary Discord server you're running, the sprout or grow phase would be maybe recruiting a volunteer to help you with modding the server, or start spotlighting the members in like a community gallery of sorts. Like that could be growth. Or if the monthly challenge worked out pretty well, you can do 2 challenges per month. So basically, taking what worked in the rooting phase and helping it root in deeper, kind of creating the more structural habits. Then the bloom phase takes from. Does it make sense so far? I hope it does. I will share the slides that I have for it, the template, when it's ready, probably tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about the bloom phase. And the bloom phase is kind of like, during that phase as a product or as a plant, you bloom, and as a designer or the artist, you help the flowers open, I guess, and bring in the bees. So from practical points of view, this is kind of like a phase when you are if you're running an imaginary Discord server, you are creating a gallery space for showing your members' work, or you invite somebody for a collaboration. So you can treat it literally as season of opening it up and inviting others, so kind of like sharing your work more intently, I guess. Maybe like highlighting a artwork of the month from some of your viewers. And then we get to fruit season, which is, from a farmer's point of view, it would be a season for harvest. So you're collecting everything you've learned, you're maybe collecting the knowledge, collecting the viewers. So in the Discord server context, maybe this is when you set up your shop channel where people can request some prints from you if that's what you're doing. Or maybe it's like setting up the role on your Discord server where you can get a buyer's role or something like that maybe gives you a discount. So this is kind of like harvesting, gathering stuff, consolidating the work from the year before that. So you're kind of collecting, preserving things for the next year. And then finally the rest stage, which is like rest, reflect, and appreciate. So this is more of a stage when you're kind of sharing what you've learned with others, you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, you're seeing what it means for the next stage of your journey for the next year, and kind of just appreciate what you've done, plan ahead, and obviously rest and recharge. So these are the 6 steps of a natural product cycle, project planning cycle. Does it make sense to you? What do you think of that, guys? I hope when I post the template it will be more clear what I mean by all of that, because I want to include also some examples of practical steps behind it. So you can see here kind of the overall idea behind this approach. So right now I separated the sky from the cliffs, and I think I want to extend the sky a little bit just so it's less noticeable, the connection point. But what it gives me is the ability to put some atmospheric perspective in between. Blur this up a bit. Although I did like this hint of orange there. Some kind of reddish. I can even put it on a separate layer so I can see if it works or not. Also, I think I need to adjust a little bit the settings for the brush. Set on this stabilization, okay, it can stay. But I want to increase the speed with which the pressure is applied. Let's see how that works. I kind of like it when, you don't need to apply pressure, but the stroke is already being painted. But it, for some reason, doesn't work this time. So just kind of like a hint of this orange or reddish pinkish tones. See if it's don't like the pressure. Maybe I just need to raise the bar. Maybe not that high. Something along these lines. Oops. It's also useful to flip your art from time to time, you know? So you get a new perspective on what's happening there. It's something I don't do often enough, but I've heard too many people suggest that. And that it probably is a good idea to build it into a habit bit by bit. Also with this with these cliffs, it feels a bit odd, and I think I know why, because usually the stuff that goes further from you gets lighter and less saturated, which is not the case here. You know, like these cliffs at the back are kind of as dark as, or even darker than the cliffs in the front, which is okay if, you know, the sun is shining on these more than on the ones at the back. But to make it more believable, I think that's what's missing. This atmospheric perspective. And it's pretty easy to do if you just create a new layer, take the brush, pick the sky color or the cloud color, and then just cover everything up where you think you need to cover it up. Okay. This one is okay. Let's leave this one for now. And then you just lower the opacity until it looks, and obviously that applies to water as well. Did you use references for the cloud? I find clouds very difficult to draw. I didn't use it this time, I think, but I did look at some clouds from other artists in a long Instagram watch doom scroll, and I do find them difficult to draw as well, but there are certain things that I find make it easier. Let me show it to you real quick here. So let's say we have a sky color. I think the key part about drawing clouds is to make them inconsistent, or rather random. Or maybe not even random, but consistently consistently inconsistent. So, often you would draw clouds like this. And then you just like, oh, this is the cloud. And it's an icon of a cloud rather than realistic cloud, because the clouds don't often have this clear round circular edges. What they do have instead is just volumes, like you have this, I think it's like you can see clouds as collection of different blobs. So like you have the maybe more circular blob, and then one more sideways blob, and then one more diagonal blob, and then one more round blob, and then another small blob somewhere floating around, and maybe something here more wide. And then you kind of, if you imagine all of these being mist of little tiny droplets of water floating through air, you can imagine, like everything that blows around will like adjust the shape, but all together they will be also, like there would be mist between them, so they would be kind of connected with these smaller shapes, and smaller shapes will be connected with even smaller shapes. And also, like, this is a good, I guess, reminder of how clouds usually form. If there are these fluffy clouds, they will have kind of like more whatever is happening here, and then kind of more straight line at the bottom. And this straight line at the bottom is, I guess, like the event horizon, like where the clouds form, and then they kind of dissipate upwards, so they kind of start losing their shape, and the more they move away from each other, they kind of like less they're less defined they would. That's a way to put it, I guess. So you can add some of those as well. And then the bottom part, depending on where you're looking from at the cloud. But like if it's from kind of like a side, you would say, okay, let's have one big shape, some smaller shapes, and some more straight line from where the wind is blowing. But ultimately, nothing beats looking at the references for clouds. And that will get you the best results, because the lighting conditions, they also are very different in like with different times of the day, different cloud coverage. But usually, or often, you would see this like I think it's called the crown, when the outermost kind of layer of these droplets in the sky just catches the light and disperses it more bright than the kind of like the light goes through, and some of it goes inside the cloud and just comes out very dim, but the light that goes through this like very thin outside layer, it gets dispersed kind of in more directions. And because there is light coming from everywhere, or like from one direction, it comes in bulk, so to say, that I think is the reason why you have this bright edge sometimes when the lighting conditions are right. And I think adding this edge often is what kind of makes this believable loud. Even this one is a bit too uniform, you know, like it has this like very even, if you think about it, shape. So if we want to make it more natural looking, we can just eat some of the shapes. We make this one a bit smaller, less defined. It's also good to leave some bits and pieces of the cloud floating after it. Anyway, that's my quick approach to compositions. It also really depends on the brush. For example, I have here in my own brushes, I have a brush called either this many pixels also. Yeah, I think that's the one. That kind of has this. Where is this guy? It has these uneven edges. You see, so it kind of helps to create these little small bits of the clouds that are just, you know, popping off by the wind. Popping off by the wind. Oh boy. What is that thing? But you know what I mean. So that also helps to make clouds a little bit more fluffy, realistic. Not saying that these are realistic, but they're really realistic-ish. Marvin says, "Key. The shadows and lighting are very tough on clouds. Probably a good exercise." That might be a good topic for one of our exploration streams. Let's take a 1 minute break. To use the bathroom and get some water. Be right back, guys. All right, so where were we? Let's undo this. So we have this layer here that, let's call it the atmospheric perspective layer. And if we now put a mask on it, we can use some of these softer brushes, maybe Untitled Brush Original is it? Does anybody else have this with Procreate after the update of the brush library? That it just duplicates sometimes the brush and calls it original, and then the other time it just duplicates the original and calls it original. I have a few of these. There is colorful blunt original, and but this one is 3 times original. Seems a bit odd. I don't know if it's just my iPad is too stupid and slow for it, or what's up with that. But here, you know, we have this atmospheric perspective layer. We put a mask on it, then we take the selection tool and just select some areas where you think the sun would shine. Like here, for example. And then just using this soft edge brush, we can slowly remove some of that. Atmospheric perspective from those places. You can also just make the brush small. Do it like that, so you have kind of softer edges. Maybe lowering the opacity of the brush is also a good idea to create a smooth gradient. And remember, since we're using the brush, the mask, we can always recolor it. And with the masks, the black is hidden, the black is visible, and the white is hidden. So if you made a mistake or created too much light there, you can always darken it up. Another neat trick would be to use like a layer in, for example, color touch. And then you can pick a warmer sun color, maybe like orange. And now if you paint with this orange, you will see it makes everything behind it kind of lit by sunlight, even a bit brighter. So you can add some of it here, there. And you can always adjust intensity later, so here I'm just putting stuff on it because it's easier, but you can always both adjust what's hitting the light. So for example, here I have this layer with cliffs, so I can put the stuff above them in clipping mask, and that makes everything on this layer flip to the layer of the cliffs. So for example, you can see that the sky is now not affected by this, but if I remove the clipping mask, you can see that it lights the sky up as well, which in this case maybe I don't want to do. Maybe. But now with this layer selected, we can also just make sure we don't shine the light on the areas where you don't want them. Maybe we can use this many pixels concept brush that I advertised. That's used from, you can see here, this stamp is exactly one of the stamps that we saw earlier that I created last year. Here we can add some of this. Well, I say add, but I'm actually just removing parts of this layer to pretend that there is some rock formations that cause the shadows to appear. Because those are supposed to be natural cliffs, right? So they will have some cracks in them and some corners and edges where the sun won't shine. Crevasses. For example, here underneath this rock, the sun doesn't shine in the shadows. This some yellows from here. Also, I might not necessarily want to have the this light shining on the water because it's already pretty bright. And now, obviously, we can make this color dodge layer very subtle. And maybe it shouldn't be a color dodge. Maybe it should be an add layer. Those overlay modes or blending modes for layers, they all have different ways of affecting the end result. And I think it's worth spending some time playing around with them to understand what they do, because there is a bunch of them that, like, everything up from normal makes one of the image darker, everything below up until overlay makes the image lighter, and then from overlay and down, these are just other ways of combining color values. And I think the easy way to understand is like this concept is just to think about it as, well, layers, right? Like you have layer number 1 with some pixels on it, and then layer underneath it with some pixels, right? And if this, and yeah, that's it. You have these 2 layers, and each layer is made out of pixels. So those pixels have values in RGB. And the way you combine these 2 values into one is basically these blending modes. So some of these names are literally like add or multiply or subtract. It's literally what it does. It takes one value. I'm not sure if it takes the value of the layer above or usually the layer below, but depending on which settings you choose, it takes the value and then it adds the value of the other layer and creates an average. Or it subtracts the value, or it picks, like it takes value number 1 and then value number 2 and compares them. And if one is bigger than the other, it picks A, and then if the other is lower than the other, then it picks B, and stuff like that. So that's a very untechnical, brief intro into blending modes that nobody asked for. It's not out there. Another tricky part with drawing snow, which this looks like a snow landscape to me, is that a lot of things turn blue. So like all your shadows, let's try this actually. All the shadows around the stones and with the snow theoretically will be even more blue, because if it's snowing, and if assuming you're on the planet Earth and your snow is white, then it will reflect a buttload of light and disperse it all around you. So it will reflect also the light of the color of the sky, and because of that, it's often that you see in winter landscapes kind of like two color variations. You have like very blue, beautiful shadows, and then everything else is kind of like pale white. So let's say these are all our shadow areas for the rocks. Now we can go into this layer blending modes and find the one that works the best. The effect that I want to achieve here is to color the darker areas of the image, which right now represent shadows, color them with this blue, which is a little bit lighter than that. So I will choose one of these modes that is called lighter color to begin with, which basically takes the lighter color of those two values and draws that. So for example, if I'm now gonna draw something with this darker color, it looks like it's just removing it, but it's actually, you can see here, it's still there on the preview, just because now this blue is darker than the color underneath it. It's not picked because the layer mode is called lighter color. So with that, I now can just like go around and maybe soften up some of the edges and make it a little less prominent. I can also just tone down the opacity on this layer, and you can also use the, what is it called, smudge tool, to just soften those edges a bit. So it's, you can still see the kind of like the color of the rock, but just a little bit more toned down. And because I'm using another layer here for this atmospheric perspective, what tends to happen with atmosphere and perspective and light is that it's getting lighter the further it is. So instead of normal and just some opacity, we can try maybe screen or also hair color, overlay, soft light. You know what? Maybe we keep it at normal. But we can also make the color itself a little bit brighter. this one I want to also remove a bit of the light from some of these areas, because it adds a little too much, I think. Especially in the areas that I tried to make darker. Let's just select this layer to remove some of these lighting from the same areas. Here I think I need to be a bit more careful, because I actually want to keep this part in the light. Also, I just realized that this atmospheric perspective is probably too harsh on the stuff that would be white anyway. Wouldn't make it darker just because it's further away, right? So all this snow and water was white before. Might be a little bit less intense, but it still would be mostly white. Did I cover everything for next year that I wanted to cover? Does anybody beyond me know that? Probably not. Well, it's been at least fun to look back into the past year. One of the things for the next year with this regular, with these 6 phases of projects planning framework thingy that I described earlier today. I want to do thematic streams and also posters every phase. So for 2 weeks, for 2 months, upcoming 2 months, for January and February, the phase and the theme of the project planning thing is seed or prepare the soil. So that's kind of just to get that in your head in case you want to start thinking within this framework for your own project for 2026. But with this in mind, there will be, I guess, I'm streaming 4 times a month, right? So one of those streams a month I would like to have based on the community feedback, topics that people find fun and would like to explore. For other ones, I will probably come up with the topics myself and either ask you to vote on them, or would be also that you just wing it and whatever happens. But for the community topics, I would be really curious to know what you guys think about would be fun to draw. I did post on the in our Discord. Actually, let's make this. Let's call in the bots. Discord. There are some, some commands you can use to get the link to this Discord server. Because this is where the voting will be happening, I think. I might post stuff on Instagram as well to vote on things, but Discord is just more cozy and more interactive, I think. So if you would like to participate in life of this community and suggest some ideas for upcoming community streams, be my guest. I think the point of these community streams, or in general, these streams, is not necessarily to teach anyone anything, but more so to show my process, my approach to things, and just put that out there, not necessarily to teach, but kind of to learn together. That I think would be a better way of doing that. The other types of streams, if you're curious, for these monthly streams, one would be a stream, like a concept art practice stream, which is just me practicing concept art. Be it landscapes or like environment concept art, or maybe props and design of stuff concept art. This is just because I would like to get better at it, and this is something that I enjoy doing, and I think there are other people who enjoy doing it alone. I will come up with my own topics, and it probably would be stuff along the lines of designing a market stall or like a castle on the hill or wintry landscape exploration or something like that. The other two types of streams is one, as I mentioned, is community stream, and another one, the exploration stream. And that one is also kind of like I will come up with my own topic and maybe we will vote on it, maybe not. But it's more of a random topic stream, so it won't always be landscapes. Sometimes we can do character design, sometimes it would be kind of like a technique approach exploration, how to maybe start a painting or where to come up with ideas or some specific ways to come up with ideas. Or combining some uncombinable things. The other thing I want to do during these exploration streams is sort of a art off, or I guess inspiration exploration. When we pick a movie or a game style or a movement or even a specific artist that is cool and try to explore that style a bit. So it could be just as simple as let's draw something from the Lord of the Rings because I recently rewatched it, or maybe it could be checking out Horizon Zero Dawn, drawing something from that world of the game. So those are some options. I think we're kind of getting close to our improvisational music piece of the day. We've been already doodling for a couple of hours. I will just share with you my thoughts on what I want to do with this image, maybe after the stream in the evening or at some point later. One would be making stuff a little bit more consistent, so I think here we might need a little bit more of this mist and droplets from waterfalls. Then I also feel like the lighting, like the color, still needs to be matched a little bit better. Like this is the same color here and here, and like it needs to get less and less saturated the further it goes. I also feel like compositionally, we have these going kind of like that in this shape, and I think it would be good if we could highlight that a little bit more. So maybe we make this more prominent. So maybe this needs to go a little bit higher and then this a bit lower, and then we You can maybe highlight these jagged edges a bit more, that's what I mean. Kind of like intensify this circular shape. Additionally, maybe there is something missing from like this focal point here. Maybe there should be like a Minas Tirith sticking here. Or maybe there is a little castle. And this one, something feels like it's kind of missing from that focal point. So if we imagine, like this will be all clouds then, and this will be all castles and islands. Maybe we don't need a focal point here and just need a little point of interest at the edge there. But this is kind of my thought process for finishing this up later. So for now, let's switch to our lovely little Roland device. Let's see. Music cam. Any musical requests for the last stream of the month? Can be anything. We don't have any rules or restrictions today. I will just say that I don't really know which music to play today, but let's see. My idea from this musical point of view, I want to continue it. I consider it fun to do. I want to practice more, and I like that it's kind of completely improvised, whatever happens kind of thing. So this is gonna stay. Do we have any voice samples? Oh, there is Tuvan. Oh, not enough memory. Okay. What about this? Also enough. What about this? Also enough. Okay, this one worked. Anyhow, I would like to keep this musical little thingies at the end of the stream. Maybe I will even do more longer music streams with just less talking and more just improvised jams. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. But for now, also for the rest of the year, I want to release a tiny, well, I wouldn't even call it an album, but maybe an EP maybe just a track on the SoundCloud page or Bandcamp with some of the Sunday jams that we experienced together in the past few weeks. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we have a clip number 13 available for us, and this is where we're gonna be playing around. Let's load some. Well, first of all, let's turn off the lo-fi generator, even though it has been a great help. It's funny how many people dropped off as soon as I decided to do the music. Oh well, it's not for everyone, I guess. Let's do a brush kit. Okay, everyone, see you on the other side of this jam.
to the re- Welcome to the real world.
Well. We reached the end of this wonderful journey that we went on today. Thank you all for stopping by. It's been great having you around, not just today, but overall during the past few months. Thank you for stopping. at the streams. I hope it was entertaining for you or not. Well, I do hope it was entertaining or maybe educational in some sorts. So, yeah, I think this is where we're gonna wrap up. I will be streaming next week at the same time. Don't forget to subscribe and follow if you're watching on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, leave comments, like, check out our Instagram, check out our Discord, hang around, keep an eye out for the print shop launching and other goodies coming your way. Thank you and have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye, everybody. Happy New Year. Soon.